Hi everyone. Got a little bit of a different stream. I've never done a stream where I show my photography process. Hi Demo Rose. I made a last minute adjustment to where cameras are, so sorry about that delay. I'm wanting to film myself for a tutorial on this process. So I need to have my other little camera up here too. Hey Quote, how you doing? One moment. I was really hoping my plug for this was in a box back there. I think it might be suspended somewhere in the wires up above. But I have so many wires up there. Oh my god. Let's see. What is this, guys? Not that. What about this? Oh, this might be it. Or maybe it's just busted. I seem to remember it was having some issues before. Oh, actually, it's possible that thing's also not actually plugged in. Okay. One more. Watch me stand on a swivelly chair and not break my neck. Ah, hopefully. Let's see if this awesome thrift store extension cord works. Nothing but the best in this operation, let me tell you. Yeah, I'm working for the weekend too, but my work is now unemployment work. It's alright, I got time to work on this book. Except for the continual stress of thinking I'm gonna destroy the mental and physical health of my wife by not getting the insurance we need. Other than that little caveat, it's pretty nice not going to work every day. I can be so focused on what I'm doing here. Alright, so here's what's going on. April 1st, that's right, Demo Rose. That is the plan. One of these will be the cover for the book. I mean, it's essentially going to be this. It's just going to be the actual model instead of a CG render, which I'm not good at rendering, and I wasn't happy with any of the renders I did, so. what I'm hoping I can do here is set the camera up in such a way that I can swap the heads in and out, and shoot each of them with different lighting setups, lighting, bounce light, etc. You prefer 4 from the left? Let's see. Oh, from the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Golden boy there? Okay. Yeah, I think he's my favorite too. So the point of having them all together, like in exactly the same spot, is in Photoshop, I can actually blend between them and be like, oh, I like the way the highlights strike this one, or man, it'd be nice if it was a little more coppery. Oh, look, I happen to have this copper one right here. I also haven't done a clear coat on most of these guys, which means I'm going to shoot them like this, then I will clear coat them, shoot them again with the clear coat, and then I can choose how shiny I want them to be. Let's see. I'm going to decide, do I want to move everything closer to the camera, or can I just get the camera closer to them? Or do I want it to be this far back? Probably not. I'm sure I have a smaller tripod. 1 second. Oh, but I trapped myself because these blue guys that I have, it's like 9 feet long, so I'm almost completely trapped back here. Got those guys. So ideally, the camera would be completely stable. And when I click the take picture button, like the one on the far left too, the silver one. Wait, left is that side, yes. This one. Yeah, I feel like I'm not gonna know until I see it like in the context with the you know, title and the background and all that stuff. Want to have as many options as possible. Hey Blue Cobbler, good afternoon. So this is a really nice little tripod, but it is designed to spin, and I don't want it to spin, and I don't see a way to lock it. And these guys are just, you know, they're not super solid because they're designed to be flexible. This one's probably the most stable. Trying to think logistically, how hard is it to get all this stuff closer? I guess I can move this table if this table is in the way. Can't I? I can. I think that's actually simpler. Well, it's not simpler, but I can use my very solid tripod. This boy, who has been with me through thick and thin. I got it at a secondhand shop for like $10, and I've had it for years, and it's been super trusty. It's super fast to set up and tear down. And then I have some other tripods that are like $100, and they have all these gizmos on them that I just would never use. Probably because I don't know what they are, and you can't do things quickly with them, which is a big turnoff to me. Thanks. Yeah, like I mean, gosh, in the pictures it looks like you're wearing real armor, but in real life well, for one, it's like 5 sizes bigger for me than what I ordered. That always happens when you order from those places where they do it in China. It's like they have charts where they're like, oh, here's what it means in European units and in American units. But it's still a crapshoot as to whether you're actually going to get the size that you are thinking. So I hope to have all the setup done before I started the stream, and I thought I was, but didn't get the camera set up. Now I'm paying the terrible, terrible cost, and so are you. This is what you get for watching a non-professional art streamer. Being semi-professional is the worst of all worlds, right? It's like, you know just enough to know that you're not really good at what you're doing, and all the limitations that your shoddy equipment is having on you. You know, when you're just an amateur at a thing, you're just like, oh, this new thing is so fun. Woo! I don't know what professionals actually do, or how they do it, or why they do it, but I'm just like doing this thing real quick. But yeah, once you get into the semi-professional, the painful epistemological weight of knowing how bad you are at what you're doing and how bad your equipment is, it's just so painful. Okay. Assume I can move this without destroying the world. We'll see. I might knock all of my sculptures over and smash them all instantly. You never know. Ah! Came close. Man, after this book is done, I seriously need to clean up my studio. Getting to hoarder level of like itty bitty paths you have to wind your way through ever so delicately. Okay. Where to put? Guess I'll go this way. Please don't knock anything over. Yay. So I actually taped a bunch of stuff in place so that it won't collapse on me as quickly. Okay, now we're getting places. So much garbage. Also, I can move this heater. Let's see. Is this the best place for that? Get my little camera down better. I think so. Yep, more or less. I mean, I don't know. Is book cover of a sculpture the same as product photography? Mechanically, it's the same, I suppose. Yay, good. You guys can see me there. This camera, hopefully we'll be able to see this camera. So, it sure would be nice to get an infinity background there, wouldn't it? I could do that with brown paper or white paper. I do not have blue paper to do that with. Probably doesn't matter. I'm going to have to hand select mask off the face from the background anyway. I seriously considered, because what I have going on in the background of this book is like the fantasy map of the world. And I thought it'd be cool to, once I finish the map, to actually print it out and have that as the background. But I decided against that because the flexibility of, you know, scooching a little to the right or to the left, you know, you may not notice, oh, the way this mountain is coming off of his cheekbone makes it look like a pimple. You know, that sort of thing can crop up in post later, so I'm trying to avoid that. Could also say still life, but usually you have some sort of scenario or embedded. I don't know what that word is. Yeah, so when people first, so my first rendition of this cover, it was pretty much like, you know, you could see the whole bust. So just imagine, like, this is the cover, right? And people's first reaction was, is this a history textbook? Because, you know, that's what you see sculptural busts on. So I had to really fight against that. And so zooming in and not showing the base was a big help with that. And then also, yeah, putting the fantasy map back there helps differentiate, as well as the font and the title and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I think I'm gonna do a white paper infinity background. Because I mean, this blue is not super blue anyway. I thought about doing this blue for the background, but I would really like to use that blue for the bounce light. Speaking of bounce light, let's shut off all our ambient light we don't want. I should probably merp so as not to waste pixels. It's kind of epic getting that low shot. I don't think it's quite as striking as when he's looking at you right in the eye, but let me see if there's a quick way to set the rotate the camera for you guys. Figure video. So I know you can flip it. That's not what I was looking for. Hey Ed, I have a question. Why does protocol officer go along with Bowmark's suggestion? I mean, she is under pressure, but nothing he says should reasonably have convinced her to want to betray the tribe. So, tried to make it, and okay, so premise one, the protocol officer's psychological profile is very one-dimensional. What she cares about is maintaining order, an orderly exchange of power. She absolutely does not want a civil war. That's her #1 task. She's also very intelligent, and she can read people. She knows that Bowmark is a man of his word. She's seen him grow up from childhood onward. She knows what his family is like. And she figures his chance of success is so low that it's a worthwhile gamble to make sure that the succession happens without bloodshed, to just basically be like, sure kid, you go do that thing, fine. But I could strive to emphasize that more, because if you have that question, other people will also have that question. And I would rather not have people thinking this is weird and doesn't make sense. Okay, so I can turn this way down or way up if I want to do more of a bounce with it. Yeah, sorry, I can't find a way to rotate it. So you guys will just have to hold your tablet and or phone and or computer monitor sideways while you watch the stream. What was the other thing I was doing? Oh yeah, white paper, which I have somewhere. Yeah, she mentions the betrayal because she wants to hear it for herself. Hey. And remind him, you're a man of honor. You're going to do this. Where's my white paper at? I have like 2 rolls of it. Where'd you go? Guys, help me find my white paper. It disappeared. What? What? Just unscrew it from your wall and screw it back in sideways just for this stream. I don't think that's asking too much. Good Lord, I have every other color under the sun imaginable except for blue or white. Ah, okay. Here we go. Hopefully this doesn't weigh down this side and tilt the whole thing over. No, seems stable. Okay. In that case, I kind of feel like the reader should have more information on the protocol officer. We hardly get to know her at all. Tilting my head sideways, it's easier to also remove part of the wall and turn that. Yeah, that's right. Just cut a hole in your wall. Just move that up. That seems like a good solution to me. Okay, so this guy needs to be untaped for a moment. Everything good? Everything stable? Yes? Okay. Gonna bounce you guys around for a little bit. Enjoy the bounces. Free bounces on the house. Bouncy House stream, woo! Alright. Fairly infinity background now. Let's see, here's our most medium-ish boy. Oh, that's the problem with having that camera over there. Wow. Okay, fine. I'll deal with you in a second. Getting all frustrated, I get hot, and then I get less frustrated, and I get cold. It's the best. You need to work hard for the bounces. I'll give you a bounce whenever you guys want. Woo! Yeah, he is definitely doing the smolder. He is a pretty boy giving you that smolder. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do, in fact, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say what I know I'm going to do, because I'm doing it right now, unless I have a stroke, like within the next 2 seconds. I'm going to cut this paper. Wow, good job, scissors. I'm not letting you do a slide cut at all. Okay, we're just gonna chop, chop, chop all the way down. Only the best here at Breath of Life Development Studio. All right. Let's get some more smolder music going. Oh yeah, baby, make love to the camera. Give me that smolder. I don't know what that is. Is that a like fashion photographer accent? That's my best attempt at it. That's what I assume they all sound like, is like drunk Mario. That's right. Give me the kissy face. So much space behind me? That's just because it's dark that it looks that way. Well, you know, play the CD. All right, now we're getting places. I have one friend who is a professional fashion model. I should ask her if the photographers all sound like a drunk Mario. Play. This is the play button. Uh-oh. My CD player finally giving up the ghost. It's been threatening me quite a bit lately. Threatening to die at a moment's notice. Okay, it's spinning, that's a good sign. Here we go. Okay. Great. Where are we at? Bounce light. Infinity background. We'll try to put our bouncy blue over here. Okay, I think I want just like some kind of clampy McDeely that can hold this in place. Do I have such a thing? I don't have such a thing. I certainly should have such a thing. I have my microphone up here that can just kind of hold it at certain angles, but see, Mr. Microphone there. Boop. Holds up my thing. Okay, more free bounces and crotch shots. Okay. So it'd be cool if he was far enough away from the background that you do not see his shadow on the background, at least much. Turn off this other light. do. Okay, so I'm going to show to the camera that I've got a blue bouncy light. Blue bounce. Cool. Prop this here. Boop. You know, actually, this might be a good candidate for a using one of those little bendy light guys or tripod guys. So you're saying fashion photographers just purposefully ask their models to do painful things just for the fun of seeing if they'll do it? Make sure that once I have this stuff established, it's going to be identical for all of them. You might as well have the camera far enough back to get the whole thing, so I can also use these for just beauty shots of the sculpture. Hey, What's Nerves appears! You're welcome for streaming today. What else am I gonna do? Alright, I already think this is pretty cool looking. Let's look at our book cover. Get an example. So this was like the version I was most happy with for my renders of the computer graphic model. And the lighting, you know, you've got your blue bounce light happening, which helps to tie it into the background, and you've got the blue and orange thing going on, and it's also copper bronze, which is important from a narrative perspective. And what's cool is, this is what I was hoping would happen once I got the physical model in there, is I'm starting to see like more things that I wouldn't expect from doing the CG model, if that makes sense. Like, you have so much control when you're doing the CG model over where lights and shadows fall and that kind of stuff, that sometimes, well, for me personally, not for like pros who are good at this stuff, but for me, it's like, it's just out too much. It becomes analysis paralysis. So I'm going to experiment with different amounts of light as well. So that's like, it's full bright. I also want to Make sure I've got the light at just the right angle, because it's really important to pick up this highlight in his eye, and right now the light is not hitting that. So I might want to lower it a little bit. I could also go in Photoshop and just, you know, just add a little touch of light right there, but the less I have to do that in post, the happier I'm going to feel about the legitimacy of this image. Huh, okay, well, I see that highlight in my physical eye, but I don't see it on the camera. I'm guessing that's just the resolution of the camera. Can I see it? Okay, I can see it in the monitor a bit. Yeah, if there's something to work with, just brightening a thing is better than like painting something on. I need to be looking at my my computer monitor rather than my camera monitor. Okay, so if I'm happy with this general composition, which I'm not sure yet, so in the book it's turned just enough so that you can see a little bit of his cheekbone on the other side of his nose. It's generally bad composition to have like where it touches a line and then bounces off of it. It should either break that profile a little bit or be away from it a little bit. This is my understanding of composition, mind you. Most of my compositional experience comes from doing environments, so I think most of it also applies to figures. And also there are two, I'm like 80% sure I want eye contact, right? I want him looking right in your eye, giving you the smolder. But it's also pretty cool. Let's see, it's not this one, but like at a certain angle, where is it? It's got like a wistful looking into the distance sort of thing, which I guess that should, you know what? I'll save that for a poster. How about that? I'll shoot some posters doing that. But for the book cover, I think it needs to grab you and be like, hey, you, reader, read this book. It's gonna be awesome. Look at how pretty I am. So another thing I would like is to get some of this hair outline on the side, but that kills the eye line because he's looking off like this. Boo! Classical Rembrandt light colored edition would definitely be an idea. I mean, it's pretty much what it is right now, don't you think? Either way, what I'm thinking I want to do, let me make sure that I've got the optimal, because if you look down a little bit on a figure, the figure becomes less imposing and gripping. If you're looking up at them, usually more so, but if their eye is not making contact with you, then you don't get that imposing gripping thing. So yeah, I think I need to be right at eye level. I mean, that's the conclusion I came to when doing this render, so makes sense. But I want to make sure that I've explored all those options. Oh, you know what? I should be recording that. Okay, so if you look down at a model, this is your feeling of it. It's kind of like, it just puts them in a bit of a more subservient feeling role. If you're looking down, it can be powerful, like they're, you know, more powerful than you, but in this case, he's not looking down, so that doesn't work so great. So we're gonna go with eye contact, eye level. You are the same height as Bowmark. Okay, next thing. Yeah, I really like how his iris is lighting up as well. That's really cool. And then his back eye being a little bit in shade, not a bad thing. Let me see if I also record this. So having this hair makes the silhouette, I can't really say what it does. It does a thing. If you cut the hair, you don't want this, right? Where it's just like, just barely peeking around and it just like roughens up the face in a weird way. So you either want a good amount of it or none of it. Kind of like the nose hitting the cheekbone, right? And even this is a little awkward, how it comes out from there, so thinking I probably want to hide all of that hair. Now I've got this weird dingleberry coming off of his chin. Not happy about that. Let me see how high the camera has to go to get rid of that. It's up here and then looks down just a touch. I could also Photoshop it out. It's not that big a deal. Yeah, I really don't want to get that down look. So, Holodoc Prime says, what exactly would be a reason today to use a sculpture for a book cover instead of just doing a 3D render? Does the difference in quality of the result warrant the time and money investment? Not that alone. You know, here's the CG version. So I mean, there's a difference in quality as far as like what I'm capable of generating in CG, and I can't afford to pay, you know, a friend of mine who would spend I don't know how many hours. It would be prohibitively expensive. But what I'm adding to the equation is the fact that I am also using these the busts for promotion, for selling, you know, that sort of thing. So basically every book that we release is going to have a half-size bust like this. So you will be able to get an awesome collection if you're a true fan. And if you're like also a true fan but don't have as much money, you can get the quarter-size bust. Or this is more like eighth-size bust. Okay, so I am totally unhappy about this, but that is pretty easy to Photoshop out. The return of getting this particular profile is worth it, I think. Now I want to experiment with this bounce light a little bit. Just depending on where I put I'm going to do a sound sync between these two cameras real quick. Oh, okay. So, as I move this bounce around, I'm getting a variety of different effects. As I move the angle of this, you know, the closer it gets, the more it's going to kind of overpower. I actually feel, ironically, like where I had it originally was really the best. Like just randomly put it there and it seemed to work out best. So I could also bounce it down. turn it up just so we get a really good impression of where it's striking. Because having it top down a little bit, it's not as bouncy, right? It's not like bouncing the light up off of the ocean or whatever, like I'm wanting to imply. But if it's low, it can kind of give a little bit of horror lighting, which I don't want. Low angle, not low amount. Wonder if this is a better way to do it. Yeah, you could say it grants you knowledge about different artistic branches, or it forces you kicking and screaming to have to learn things that you're not really passionate about but are necessary to get you the end result you want. Which, that's what photography is to me. I care about world building, story development, and sculpting, and creating the ideal environment in which the mechanics, whether that be game mechanics, story mechanics, character mechanics, can fully manifest. I want to facilitate mechanics through environment. That's super exciting to me. And it's like such a weird, grognardy little thing. I don't know who else feels that way, or if that's a thing or a discipline. In video games, it's called level design. But I don't really have that for, I guess set design in movies is pretty similar. So I would like the bouncing blue to be lighter. Oh, that reminds me, I should try this. I don't think it's gonna work, but let me try this. I've got this sheet of stuff. Cellophane, I guess it is. Like the level of detail on it. Now what's interesting is I actually didn't go like full bore on the detail. I kind of wanted it to have a handcrafted artisanal thing as opposed to being like a life cast looking thing. So it doesn't have all the pores and wrinkles that a realistic face would have. You know, when I'm sculpting a creature for a game or an image or whatever, they get a lot more detail than that. I also have somewhere hidden from myself a blue thing for this particular, you know, that covers this light thing, but I don't know what happened to it, of course. Okay, so here is the light going just directly onto him, but since it's got some iridescence to it, it's casting a bunch of weird like rainbow lights on him, which I wouldn't really be opposed to, except for the fact that because this is a trilogy, the first book is going to have a blue background, the second's going to be a purple, and the third's going to be red, so it'll have like a nice ramp to it when you put the three books together. So I really do want blue to be the primary counterbalance to the golden, bronzy, orangey face. Okay, I'm gonna do one final desperate attempt to find that blue or another piece of blue plastic that will work for what I'm doing. So give me a moment. Oh my god. I did it. I found a thing. You guys, this is unprecedented. I found a thing. So excited. I never find a thing when I need a thing on a stream. This is an opportunity for an RGB trilogy. It could still happen. We literally have 11 novels that are, you know, written right now. So none of them are, the other ones are currently a trilogy, but you never know when they could expand into that. Hey, EJ Andrews, how you doing? Celebrate with me. Unprecedented event. Now this I just made out of a plastic lid because for whatever reason, the gels that came with this, they gave like white and orange. I'm like, huh, well. Okay, so what does a direct blue light look like as opposed to bouncing off of? It looks very similar, but I do have a very consistent blue that I didn't feel like I was getting with the bounce. Well, of course, now it's blue light shining off a blue surface, so I think that kind of cancels it out somehow. I don't know, physics. You know, physics. It does stuff. Pretty intense. Let's turn it down a tad. Also, another thing I could do is I could take a picture, you know, with it full, take a picture half, and take a picture with none. And then in Photoshop, I can, you know, lay them over each other and get it exact. You know, and sometimes, for instance, like maybe I don't want it traveling up that part, and then in Photoshop, I can just have the blue layer over it, and then just erase that part away. So Photoshop, am I right? Ruined everything. Okay. But I would like to minimize the number of variables I'm doing, since I'm doing this on 5 different busts. Feel like you've got the direct looking at you thing. That's closer to it. But now he's further away. Oh. Or, watch this. Just move this like so. Then I'm getting more of the shadow in the background. So I do, well, I guess either way I would be moving the light, because I want most of his face to be lit by the primary. I'm not really excited about how dark his forehead is looking here. Ooh, that's getting more like what I want. Yes. Yes! Okay. Record, please. Record. You can do it. Okay. Sound syncing. Oh. I have to do that when I have 2 different cameras filming at the same time, so when I go in and edit them, I can match them up frame by frame. I see the little spike in the audio where I clap, and that lets me just visually put them in place. I accidentally zoom in or something? What's going on here? Okay, so here we've got the nose still coming right up to the cheek edge. Okay, I'm going to do a test for you guys, just perceptually. Tell me where do you think he's looking at you the most? Here's number one. Okay. Whoop. Yikes. Okay. Here's number one. Here's number two. Here's number three. Answer now. 1, 2, or 3. Again. 1, 2, or 3. Which one feels like he's looking into your soul, smoldering you? Crimmy thinks 3. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I can see it there. 3 seems like he's looking past you. Yeah, maybe between 2 and 3 is where I want to land. The problem with between 2 and 3 is I get this little bit of dreadlock messing up the side of his face. And like this is 2, where the nose goes right on the edge of the face, which I don't want. I either want it just a tad past that or a tad on this side of it. 3 looks like, okay, how long until lunch? Amadeus also thinks 3. Interesting. I like that there's a variety of opinion on this matter. So this is the angle of my book cover that I have currently. Right, so on the cover now, again, this is not the Bible. I'm not having to do exactly this, but there's a little bit of distance between the tip of his nose and his cheek out there. And you got the same thing there. I wonder how much of an impression this is making on that. Also, you know what? I'm gonna try something crazy. Introducing the third light. Dun dun dun. Let's get the top of that forehead a little less black. The thing I don't like it, well, maybe it's just because it's a warm light, and I could fix that by putting cool in front of it. But it kind of adds another color to the palette, which that's too much. Wow, this light will not penetrate cellophane. That's weird. Gotta have some more blue plastic somewhere that I could throw on top of that. I do have this blue Octorok that I made. That's made out of transparent resin, but I painted the inside. Drat! Because he's supposed to look like he's got rocks in his body. Let's see if I have one where I haven't painted it yet. It's a lighter blue. What's that look like? And it still completely covers it. Is that one painted? A little bit. I wonder if I have literally a blue light bulb. Oh! Heather got a color changing light bulb thing. I'm gonna go grab that real quick. Alright. I will BRB. Sure if I have a glass. I might have a glass thingy one, but I'm not sure. Alright, so I'm gonna put it in, I think this.
So when you
Hold on, I need to find the right. Oh, this one will be flexible. Ah.
yeah, like when you put it in and you turn it on.
Is there an on button?
No, you just turn on the
Oh,
light.
turn the light on.
And then
Apparently I can't.
can you just plug that in without that part?
I could, but I don't want to have it not have this part.
Do you want me to hold it?
No, I just needed it to not be up above my head. Okay, and then I need to have this plugged in separately.
Whenever I turn it on, I have to, on the app, I have to delete the device. It's easy, but it's just dumb because I don't know why it doesn't
Sounds super annoying.
find it. So I delete the device, then you plug it in, then through Wi-Fi, and it says, it scans basically, you know,
Okay.
Is it plugged in?
It's plugged in.
Okay. Add device. Searching. Let's say garage.
There we
How
go.
blue do you want it?
Well, just move it by hand until I get it right. Yeah, I think that's about right.
I can do a lighter or darker or faded.
Try one lighter.
Too light?
No, that's really good. That's perfect. Yeah. So you just leave it there and it'll just stay that way?
Yeah.
Cool.
Till you turn it off. But
Okay.
I'm gonna be outside. I'm gonna go for a walk. I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks. Alright, so attach this guy up here. I mean, essentially, I just want to get rid of that black upper forehead. Yeah, lots of adapting going on here. All the time. Always adapting. Okay, yeah, so that's without that light, and there's with it. Much better. But I probably still want this to be turned a little more this way because I want to make sure I get the highlight on his cheekbone and forehead. If I zoom in and move the camera back, that makes it worse as far as the dreadlock dangling out the bottom of his chin. So I want full zoom out with the camera as close as possible. Like so. Hey, thanks for the host, Static Crowbar. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with how well this blue light ended up matching the blue of the LED panel. Okay, so yeah, so the more I turn his head to get his nose out of that line, the more I feel like he's looking middle distance instead of at you. Like, it really does seem like the sweet spot for his eyes is right in the worst spot for his nose. Which, that's just on me as the sculptor, right? I should have been doing the lighting as I went to try to make sure that that wouldn't be the case. So this is the other option. Okay, not looking at you. I do feel like he's looking at you here. Let me ask you guys another thing. Does anyone right now feel like at this angle he's not looking at you? Answer now. Yes for looking at you, no for not looking at you. Yes, yes, yes. 3 good yeses. Very good. Trying to find the best main highlight spots. Because I don't want that blue to feel like when the light's over here, feels like a third to a quarter of his surface is blue, which do not want. Could. Yeah, that helps with that. And I do like the, to some extent, I like the dark going along the middle of the face, and then blue on one side, orange on the other. There's a word for that, I can't remember what it is, but I like it. I don't need the blue as much when I've got him tilted this way. Curiosity, what is this? I think I just need to get this light a little further back to match where the panel ended up. Oh God. Dinner bell. Just kidding. I never even eat for the first time of the day until like between 5 and 10 p.m. these days. Oh no, I turned it. No! Ah! Accidentally turned it off, which now it requires an app to change the color on it. Ah. Well, it's not as black up there anyway, and here's another thing I should consider. The book itself has text going over his forehead, so having it dark because it's going to be light text anyway, maybe that's not such a bad thing. I don't want to make a decision based on, logistics that I could fix right now, but what is that casting a shadow from? How is that? I'm kind of liking. So I don't like the orange highlight that it makes here because this is a warmer light up here. But when it's when it's like coming out of the highlight of the regular light to begin with. I am kind of a fan of that. Trying to see if there's a spot where you got to be careful. If you add too many lights, you lose definition of what's going on. At least that's the way it works with environments. It seems to be the same with this. Like if I put a light at, you know, directly in front of them and on each side of them, it would just be washed out. So certainly if they're the same kind of tonal range and intensity, but this is like different enough where I feel like it's adding some warmth and life to it that I really like. Yeah, I like that. It gives it, I feel like it gives it a, like, because it's richer and deeper, it helps it sells the bronze metallic of it in a way that if you take it off, where's my switch? Yeah, you can see it feels like brassier to me this way, and here it's got more of, I don't know, it feels sunnier, which is good. Bowmark is, after all, from a tropical island. Okay. So here's the next thing I want to do. Yeah, subtle tweaks in post, those are just gonna happen. That is totally fine. Okay. Is there a way to do? I would love to not mark on the paper, but keep a marking so that as I swap the statues in and out, they're in like as close to exactly the same place as possible. How could I do that? Could I have a template that I remove? Yeah, okay, so if I have a paper or anything else that has the marking on it, literally a piece of paper is what I want. This will work. Okay. Beautiful. Piece of paper. Oh, and there goes my signal. So if I take said paper, put it need it. So it's going off of frame. Let's get him exactly where we want him. And then I'm going to mark outside the page brackets. It's not going into frame. Like that on the paper. Front, or closest to the front. This giver's hand medallion is here. Okay. And so the other thing that needs to be absolutely stationary is my camera. So I will just try to tape it to the floor for now with duct tape. Okay, pretty stable there. Should I tape that light down? No, I don't think I need to do that. Okay. So, then the trick is, but then how do you move that paper without moving Bowmark at all? Well, I guess I could just take pictures for the cover, which I know is going to crop off the bottom part. And then, because those are the ones where it's important that he be exactly in place. And then I can do the full-size beauty shots after these after these book cover shots. So why am I still getting this shadow? Oh, from this guy. Cast the shadow. Oh, and I need to set it not into movie mode, set it to camera mode. Hopefully this won't stop the streaming. I don't think it will. Okay. I'm going to assume that took a picture, but assuming is bad, you guys. You should not assume. Okay, I'm gonna need to get an SD card reader because I'm not gonna go through all the work of taking a million pictures and then find out, you know, they were downgraded or weird in some way. Be right back. Yeah, this is perfect ergonomics for my studio right now. Have to squeeze through like I'm cave diving. Gotta love the USB 3 flip rule. So it's saving it as a JPEG, which is probably not the best idea. How do I see what size it is? It looks plenty big, but I do not want JPEGs, you know? Why introduce degradation into the process at the source if you don't have to? All I have to do is simply navigate the menu on my camera. It'll be so easy, you guys. It's so easy. I never have problems figuring this stuff out. Ever. Oh, God, it's already screwing up. Okay. Here. Extended ISO. Of course I want that on and or off. Duh. Okay, come on. Somewhere is just like image quality, right? Oh, self-timer. Actually, that's useful for not having the camera jostle at all when you take the picture. So I like setting that to 2 seconds. Metering mode. Don't know what that is. Photo style. Is that going to be the size of it? Oh, here we go. Picture quality. Yay! For printing, up to A2 16 by 20. So it's set to large, 12 megs. I assume that's what M is. But how do you make it not do JPEG compression? Quality. Here we go. Okay, it's at the highest quality except for RAW. Do I dare shoot in RAW? That's the question. And then risk not understanding how to open up the file, having to do a thing to the image to actually make it show up, right? Why can't I just shoot in non-JPEG but also RAW? Find JPEG image simultaneously. Oh! RAW does both, I think. Hold on, I gotta wait for this message to scroll by incredibly slowly. Record a RAW and a fine JPEG image simultaneously. Okay, cool. Look at that. All my fears alleviated. Hey, Kuro. It's going pretty good. I'm pretty happy right now. I'm on the brink of having the cover art close to being done, and then it's like just maps and 2 illustrations. And whatever editing stuff comes up in the next week. book is at the editor's as we speak. Okay, anyway, yes, raw. That is our quality. Let's go back sideways. Okay, one thing I kind of want to see if I can do. I have. It's fine. Ah, fine. Yay. Because I want these sculptures to be precisely in the same spot. Which is hard since the little spikes don't go down directly to the ground. I guess these edges do. All right. All right. Is everything set? Are the colors where I want them? The lights where I want them? Can we get this and still keep the highlight in his eye? Huh. Don't see it on my monitor. I see it in my eyeball. I feel like the camera should be getting it, but it's not. It's fine. Be that way. Let me try to prop this light up a little bit. Does that help? Why? Maybe it show from here? Okay, well, that'll grab the eye for you. Actually, wow. That random movement, I love. Look at this. You've got beautiful lit iris and pupil highlight. You've got the cheekbone. I'm not super excited that it makes like a perfect U like that. And there's no, I mean, it falls off a little bit. But I do like this like nice smooth light on the forehead. Lip lines look great. Nose is fine. Catching a little bit of blue on here and here. I would love to get more blue or any blue on these guys, but to do that ends up, the trade-off is then you get a lot more blue in the image. Although that's not bad. It flattens it out a bit. But again, this is one of those things where I can shoot it with a couple different options and Photoshop between them to get the best of all worlds. Okay, so we'll start with full, do a full, middle, and none. Okay, so it should. I don't feel like it did my 2-second delay like I asked. took a long time, but I think that's because it's doing a raw image. Here, I'm gonna just for absolute certainty, or as close to it as I can get. I don't actually believe in absolute certainty. It's epistemic quirk that I have. Okay, so here's our raw. Here's our fine quality JPEG, which interestingly has more of the background than it shows. Okay. Either way, I've confirmed that I have a super high res JPEG and a raw image, so I can go either way with it. So I'm going to do that one. Turn it down to subtle blue. I'm going to see if I can figure out that timing. Why is my self-timer not working? Set to 2 seconds. What more do I have to do to make it actually do that, though? Is there a different button I have to press? Delay in time after pressing the shutter. Pressing the shutter. I mean, that's this button, right? I'm pretty sure. Maybe it just doesn't do it for raw or something. See, I'm worried all that pulsing that it's doing with the filter, or with the focus, that's the word, makes me worried that the image is not going to be fully in focus.
I love my daddy. Your daddy? Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm going to do... I'm not convinced that actually took a picture. That's better. Okay. Now, I'm going to do crazy blue up front. Okay. Medium blue up front. And super subtle up front. Okay. I think that's good for that model. Can we swap out models without destroying everything? just the rim. Don't think there's any way this one's gonna match up perfectly because the base I had to do a lot of custom sculpting on because the cast didn't come out perfectly. But I still might be able to get a good layer out of it. Oh, interesting. The nose is actually going out of the frame, out of his cheekbone on this one. That's weird. Wait, it was... Oh man, now I'm totally confused. Okay, before I go any further, I've got to confirm that I had nose fully in cheek profile previously. Oh, okay, I had the nose going way out of the cheek profile. Boy, confused. I've been going through so many options. Looks like that's how I need to be measuring the differences. It's how far the nose extends. 'Cause that's a lot closer to the breast. Okay. Right. And the last Bowmark boy. Yeah, boy. looks all bruised, this version of him, with the blue lighting, because he's got all those green undertones. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to do before moving any of this stuff is I want to try at least some of them shined up. Trying to think of the best way to do this. I think I'll literally just take them over and spray them right there, right now. Set them in front of my heater to dry ASAP. Okay, so I'll be right back. Yikes. That's gloss black. There's my gloss clear coat. Ah, where are you? is how glossy he is. Right now all wet, but don't want to do it wet. Don't think I want Copper Boy to have a gloss coat. Hey, thanks, Deezer Love. Appreciate it. Okay. These guys will get drier momentarily. Actually, I guess while I'm waiting for those, I could do some poster shots, full shots. Is there a shadow? What is this? Here's a shadow. Shadow of this cord. This here cord. Do not want a shadow. think if I could change my face into any face in the world, probably change it to Bowmark's face. He's got the perfect face. In my ever so humble opinion. Maybe that's why I sculpted him that way, you think? Maybe. Alright. Let's see if our shiny guys are still so shiny. Since this is the least likely one to make it onto the cover, I'm going to go ahead and shoot this one first. Sweaty boy right now. You never know when, like, I might want to grab some of those highlights and apply them selectively to the less glossy version. I am not a fan of what's going on with this little highlight, how it like goes up and then bumps into the primary lights. It's also what's making the eye highlight pop, so. Can't seem to get one without the other. I guess if I move it over this way, I still get the highlight and don't have that U. Okay, that works. Oh. Yeah, like in real life, bronzes tend to have this very polished, very shiny finish to them. But I'm not necessarily trying to make a real life photograph of a real life bronze. I'm trying to get the impression of bronze across for sure. But if there's distracting highlights that take away from the character or the intensity of the character's expression, then I shall ditch the shininess aspect. Definitely makes the rim lighting less cool because you see the squareness of the light reflected right in your face, all up in your face parts. Alright, now since I've got everything set up, I figure I might as well do a couple different takes on him for posters or other promotional materials. Oh. Getting some weird bubbly reactions. Interesting. Have to figure out what that's all about. Might have been the heat of the heater too close to the clear coat. To sand it down and recoat. Yay! Let's also try, while we're here, stream. boy. I think this is our final. It's the final one. I want to get a variety of angles on Copper Boy. I definitely prefer how the highlights fall on the this kind of faux painted metal as opposed to the glossy. I'm glad I took shots of it before the glossy. Okay, well, Christina, the project today is making the final book cover to replace the prototype book cover by photographing my sculptures. So I'm just wrapping it up. In fact, so I'll be taking this inside, throwing it in El Photoshopo, and we'll see what we can get. So I'm gonna turn off this stream and I'll be back. I might, it's 3:30, should I get something to eat? I don't know. I will be back either like in 10 minutes or in 45-ish minutes. We'll see, okay? Work with me here, people. Work with me. All right, I'll see you guys shortly. Either way, shortly. Bye.